Here's me barbell shrugging 120 kgs. I did that in the form of a cluster set, so 5 reps, bit of a breather, 5 more reps, bit of a breather, 5 more reps, bit of a breather, and then 5 reps at the end. So that's 20 total reps. Let's talk about it. Okay, so I'll help you build strong masculine traps. But before I get started, why should you trust my advice? Well, this is my transformation from 2022 to 2025. We'll specifically be talking about traps, so I want you to notice my traps in this picture and in this picture. Okay? They're not just strong and masculine, they're also lean, they're vascular. I have literal veins running down my traps. So, I want to talk about something called the masculine silhouette. We all already know about the V taper, you get from your lats, the wide V taper. That's really attractive. Something else that's also attractive on a guy is this thing right here. You can see the curve of the shoulders, you can see the traps popping out, right? This gives it a very masculine frame, and it makes your head and your neck sit on like a mountain, like this right here, as you can see. This picture is just an exaggerated drawing, but yeah, traps help with your shirt fitting, okay? It's not just your arms, it's not just your shoulders and arms. If you have big, well-developed traps, collared t-shirts, shirts, anything you wear that's tight fit, like a fitted polo t-shirt, will look really, really good on you. Okay, you have the nice upper chest shelf, which we'll talk about in future videos, chest training videos. The upper chest shelf, you got the shoulders, you got your traps. Okay, traps play a huge role in that. So, I want to cover a story before I get started. Now, if you just want the training advice, I will put a timestamp on the screen. You can jump over to that to get immediately to this training advice. You can skip the story. But if you want to hear the story, stick around. So let's talk about it. So this was around 2022, and there was this girl. That's we'll just go with that. Like that's the girl, right? Like this is a girl. It's not. All right. The girl, right? She used to come to the gym around the same time as I would in the evening, and she would also come with a friend. And at the time, I was training really intense, right? Doing like 110 kg deadlift, which doesn't sound as impressive, but you know, I wasn't really doing anything before. No deadlifts, no squats, nothing. And now I'm actually being serious in the gym, pushing hard, going intense. 110 kg deadlifts, heavyweight chest press, heavy just pushing hard in the gym. And so whenever I would see her, I would just instead of going up to her and speaking to her, saying, "Hey, excuse me, I've seen you often. What's your name?" Or just actually like engaging with her, speaking to her, cold approaching her. I did not do that. I would look at her, and I would tell myself, I gotta impress her. Not impress myself by, oh, you know what? I think she's pretty. I'm gonna just go approach her. Not that. I'm gonna impress her. How are you gonna impress her? Okay, I'm gonna lift this much weight on this exercise. So it turned out this happened multiple times, right? So I would be done with my back day. So it'd be specifically on back day, let's say, right? I would just be done with my back day. I just finished most of the exercises. I was moving on to, let's say, rear delts. And she was there by the dumbbell rack. So this is the dumbbell rack right here. All the dumbbells are placed. It's a mirror, you know. There's the bench. There's another bench. And there's the other bench. She would be sitting, let's say, around this bench right here at the end of the bench. And I wanted to impress her. I had just finished my back day, so like I said, the 110 kg deadlift was already done. I couldn't show that to her. So I thought in my mind, shit, now what do I do? What do I show to her? How do I impress her? How do I lift heavy to impress this girl? Oh, you know what? Traps. I can do shrugs. I didn't think traps. I saw shrugs. Yeah. I knew traps were, built through shrugs, but I didn't care about building traps. I only cared, okay, I can lift really, really heavy on shrugs. So this is what I would do. Since I had just finished my back day, so my back was already warm, I would go over to the squat rack, pick up the barbell, and warm up with the empty barbell on shrugs for about 10, 15 reps. And then I would come over here to the dumbbell rack. I would walk up to her, not to speak to her, not to speak to her. I would walk up to her and I would say, "Excuse me, I need the dumbbells." And I would have, before this, picked out which dumbbells I'm going to pick out. All the heaviest dumbbells were at the bottom of the rack, right? 70, 80, 90s, right? All those. So I would pick out the dumbbells that was right in front of her. Say let's say they were the 75-pound dumbbells, right? So I would go up to her. Instead of speaking to her, I would say, "Excuse me, I need the dumbbells." And since she was right there in front of it, she would move a little bit off to the side. I would then pick out these dumbbells. I would stand right in front of this bench or maybe around here. So not directly in front of her. That's disrespectful. Just a little bit off to the side, but enough so she can still see me. I would just stand there with 75-pound dumbbells in both of my hands. In my head, I was like, oh shit. I don't know if I can lift this. This is actually very heavy. Oh my God. But in my mind, I would also tell myself, she's watching. She is looking over right now. She is watching you. So you have to prove to her that you're strong, that you can lift this dumbbell, that you can actually do the reps. Obviously, she wasn't watching. She didn't care, right? But in my head, I was like, okay, no, she's watching. You gotta impress her. Okay. And then that energy I would get from, okay, she's watching. You cannot fail right now. You have to go. I would get about 17 to 25 reps. I'll tell you exactly the style of reps I was doing. Fast, not full range of motion, and I was taking breaks. So I would do about 7 reps, and then I literally couldn't get the weight up. But I couldn't just drop the weight though. So I would take a little breather. I would do 5 more reps. That's 12. I would take a little bit more breather. This time I can get 5 reps. Okay. Take a little bit more breather. I can only get 3 reps this time. Okay. Shit. That's 20 reps. 7, 5, 12. Yeah, 20 reps. So I would do about like 17 to 25 reps. Sometimes 17, sometimes 25, sometimes 20. You get the idea. So the reps were very fast. The reps were not like, I'm going to hold at the top for 3 seconds. None of that. They were very fast, not full range of motion. And I was taking breaks in between the reps because I couldn't do the heavy dumbbells, the 75-pound dumbbells, for that many reps in one go. So I had to take breaks. I ended up getting 20 reps in the end, of course. And then I would put the dumbbells down, and if she was still around, I would do another set. If she was not around, I would just get out of there. I would just finish rear delts and go back home. If she was there, or if her friend was there, either one, I would do another set. If they were there for longer, I would do another set. I did like 4 to 5 sets at times because they were like hanging around and absolutely not caring about what I was doing. They would just leave and get off, be on their phones, speak to each other, do another exercise, leave the entire room, go to the other cardio training room, whatever. They didn't care. But in my mind, I was like, yes, she cares. She's thinking about you right now. She wants to know how strong you are. Prove it to her how strong you are. Prove it to her. Prove it to her. She's watching. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, you impress her. Yeah, I'm impressing her right now. Yeah. That whole thing of me doing shrugs, because I could lift a lot of weight on shrugs. I went up to 95. The heaviest dumbbell in my gym is the 95-pound dumbbell. So I was shrugging 95-pound dumbbells. No straps, no belt. All right, not a proper form. I wasn't using proper form. I was doing fast reps, very, very heavy, 95 pounds, both hands, and also very, very, like, high reps still. I wasn't doing, like, 3, 5 reps. I was doing 7 reps, 5, 3, like, doing 7 reps and then taking a breather. Total of, like, 20, 25 reps. Cluster set. That's a cluster set, you call it. Where you still get high reps, but you do them in a sort of like, you take breathers in the middle. That's the style of sets I was doing. So what do you think happened? Shrugs targeted my traps really well, and my traps responded really well. So over time, my traps just grew exponentially. And I was doing this mostly at the end of my back days and at the end of my shoulder days when I included shoulders and arms. So I would do them at the end of back day and at the end of shoulder and arms day. Because the other days I would actually be sore from this training. My traps would actually be sore. So my traps grew exponentially. Every time I would take off my shirt in the gym, the first thing people would notice were, man, your traps are huge. Man, you've got some impressive traps. And I started noticing it in myself. Like, yeah, my traps are actually a little bit too big for my physique. Like, my shoulders are not as big as they could be compared to my traps. My traps are just like overpowering my physique. That's when I kind of eased up on the intensity of traps, because I didn't want to overpower my traps so much that they just looked completely just out of proportion, out of place, right? Weird. So I kind of toned it down after a while, and then I started putting more intensity into my other muscle groups like shoulders and chest and everything, and bringing them up. But my traps, I'll show you the picture again. My traps are one of my most impressive muscle groups. I can't even point. There you go. One of my most impressive muscle groups. You can also see my front delts. They're also impressive. But my traps. Like, every time I would take off my shirt back then, the first thing people would say was, your traps are impressive. You know what I mean? Like, even guys bigger than me, they've got bigger shoulders and bigger chest than me, heavier than me. They had tinier traps compared to my traps. My traps are just insane. And it all started with, not because I wanted to train traps and grow them, but because I wanted to impress a girl that I liked. I couldn't speak to her. I didn't cold approach her, but I just thought in my head, I'm going to impress her by lifting heavy. And I did. And now I have big, massive traps. So that's the story. All right, that's the story I wanted to cover. Okay, let's get to the training section. The first tip I'm going to give you is training heavy. This is one of the most important tips that I can give you for trap training. Training them heavy. Like I said, I was picking up 75, 85, 95 pound dumbbells and shrugging them for high reps. So it was heavy, right? It was heavy, but also high reps. I didn't just do them for like 8 reps, 12. I did for 20, 25, 30 reps sometimes, right? So heavy and high reps. So train them heavy, but also keep the reps high. And cluster sets will help you with that. I'll cover cluster sets in a bit. So train them heavy. That's point number 1. Here's me doing barbell shrugs with 120 kgs. My deadlift is around 140 kgs for 3 reps. Body weight around 66.5. And this is me doing 120 kgs on barbell shrugs. Most people don't do this heavy. They only have like 125 kg plate. I have 2. And yeah. Let's talk about the advice I'm going to give you in this kind of a crazy, I call this the challenge set or the cluster set or the death set, if you want to call it. So, 120 kgs. You're going to rack pull up the weight. Now, if you have never rack pulled before, look it up. It's a great back movement, but also that's how you're going to actually get the weight off the safety pins here. Okay? You're going to get it off like you're about to do a rack pull. You're going to get in position, and then you're going to shrug. So that's point number 1. You're going to rack pull up the weight into position. Now let's talk about range of motion. I'm only doing about 80% of the range of motion. Literally, 70 to 80% of range of motion. I'm not holding it at the top for like 3 seconds hold. I only hold it at the top and stretch it out at the bottom at the end of the 5th rep. So this is my style of trap training, heavy training. I do 1 rep, 2 rep, 3 rep, 4 rep, and then the 5th rep, I hold at the top and I really stretch out at the bottom, as you saw in the clip. These reps are fast. This one I held at the top and I stretch at the bottom. And then I repeat this for about 3 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 20. 20 reps. All right. That's the range of motion. You don't need 100% of the range of motion. You can have a back off set if you want. Like after this set, I removed the 25 kg plates. Like I only had one 25 kg plate on the barbell, and I did about 25 to 30 reps with that, holding at the top, really squeezing at the bottom, 100% range of motion. So you can have a back off set like that if you want. But for this set, I'm telling you, do not care about the range of motion. Obviously, you don't want like 20% range of motion, like barely moving it. No. At least 70 to 80% of the range of motion. You want to have at least 70 to 80% of the range of motion. You do not worry about the 100%. You just don't have to. Like I said, fast reps, and then the fifth rep will be you're going to hold at the top and you're going to stretch out at the bottom. Fast reps, and then you're going to stretch out at the bottom, hold it at the top, and stretch out at the bottom. Okay? Cluster set. You're going to take a breather here, and then you're going to continue. Take a breather again. You're going to continue. Okay? Stretching at the bottom. Stretching at the bottom. You really want to feel your traps just getting stretched as you're holding the weight up here, weight down here, okay? Like really stretch, exaggerate the stretch a little bit. Up to your comfort level, obviously. Don't hurt yourself. Up to your comfort level. But really stretch it out and really feel your traps like burning, like really deep in your traps. As for the weight, use deadlift level weight, okay? Like about 70, 80% of your, it's the same thing, 70 to 80% of your range of motion. Same thing, 70 to 80% of your deadlift weight. So if you deadlift 100 kgs, go 70, go 80 kgs on barbell shrugs if you can deadlift 100 kgs. Use really heavy weight, okay? A weight that you can get for about 5 to 7 reps. And you're going to do that. Excuse me. Then you're going to do that. You're going to take a breather. You're going to do that again. You're going to take a breather this time. But this time you may only be able to get 3 reps. That's fine. Take a breather. Take a little bit of a longer breather. And then do another set. Another set of reps. I'm going to clear that up, actually. What I mean by that. So let's say you get 7 reps the first time. You're going to pick a weight that you can only get 7 reps for, okay? The first time. Then you're going to take a little breather. You're going to get 5 more reps this time, let's say. You're going to take a breather. This time, you may only get 3 reps. That's fine. Let's say your goal was 20 reps. This is 12, 15. You got to get 5 more reps, right? But you cannot actually get 5 more reps. You only got like 3 reps this time. That's fine. Take a longer breather and do the next 2 reps after this. Get 20. All right, this is 12, 15, 20 reps. But take breathers in the middle. As for the number of sets you're going to be doing in this, I would say for the entire week, 2 to 3 sets of that. Maximum. Okay? If you're going to plan it at the end of your back days or shoulder days, which we'll get to that, 2 to 3 sets of that crazy set, like I said. This kind of a set, you're only going to need to do it for 2 to 3 sets maximum in the entire week. Where you're putting deadlift level weights. Okay? Deadlift level weights. And I already discussed the cluster set. Now let's discuss a little bit of this point here. I definitely recommend you use a belt. It's going to keep your core really tight. And it's just, you're lifting that much weight. You use a belt when you're deadlifting that much weight. So go ahead and use a belt when you're shrugging that much weight too. It's going to help you. The second point is straps. Don't care about your grip strength. People like to think, oh yeah, I'm training my forearms and grip strength as I'm holding the weight of my barbell shrug. Don't worry about it. You're lifting this heavy on barbell shrugs for, like I said, 20, 25 reps. You're going to go heavy and high reps. Your forearms are going to be giving out by then. Okay, are you training your forearms in this exercise or are you training your traps? You tell me. This exercise, you're training your forearms or traps? Traps, right? So you want your traps to fail, not your forearms. Use traps. Help give yourself this support from the traps, okay? And the last tip is this right here. Either use a mat on this, like barefoot, or wear just flat bottom shoes. Do not wear running shoes. The same tip I gave on leg press. The same tip I'm actually going to give on deadlifts. Do not wear running shoes on deadlifts or RDLs or barbell shrugs. Okay? At least if you're going this heavy. They're just going to be unstable. They're not going to be a good time. So either flat bottom shoes or just go bare feet. Have a mat, just go bare feet. Simple as that. That's this point right here. Now, let's quickly talk about warming up. because you don't want to just enter the gym and immediately start barbell shrugging 120 kgs. That's not good. I don't advise that. So warm up with dumbbell shrugs, however many you need to, 35 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. Before this set, I actually did the empty barbell for about 10 reps. Then I added 10. Then this is 20. Then I added 25 on each side, and then 15. I warmed up about 4 or 5 sets before this. My trap training is a little different because I don't have to train them as hard anymore because they're already developed, and I don't want them to overpower my physique. But I still warm up. It's just that one crazy set I do, right? This is the 120 kg set. I want to make sure I'm warmed up enough for that. So I'm going to warm up. I'm going to do my dumbbell shrugs and empty barbell shrugs, and then add a little bit more weight, a little bit more weight, a little bit more weight. And then I do this set for about 3 reps first. I feel it. Okay, I feel good. Okay, I'm ready for it. And then I tighten my belt. I get everything ready. I put my straps on, and I go for 20 reps. And that's the one set I do. Sometimes I like to take off the 25 kg plates and do another set with just like, how much would that be? 70 kgs. I just do with that. Hold at the top, just a back off set. Sometimes I don't even do that. Just this one set for the entire week. And for me, that's enough for me to maintain my traps. But for you, I'm going to give you a different advice. Hang on a second. But this is not just the only warm-up you want. You also want to warm up your upper back, okay? Specifically your upper back, because your upper back is also getting involved. Your rack pulling up the weight, you're holding this much weight at the top. Your upper back is also getting involved. Your traps are getting trained mainly, but your upper back has involvement. So do a couple of empty barbell bent over rows, do some overhand, underhand, just rowing, do some pull-ups if you want. Just warm up your back before you get to heavy barbell shrugs. Let's talk about programming your barbell or dumbbell. If you choose dumbbell, you can choose dumbbell if you want. Go heavy though. Go really heavy. I prefer barbell, and I would tell you to use barbell as well because it's just one bar. There's no stability issues with having 2 dumbbells in your hand, and I like the barbell. I prefer the barbell. It's much more stable. So you're going to pick that, and you're going to put it at the end of your back days or your shoulder day. So let's say you have a PPL split, the push-pull leg split, right? You're going to have the PPL and then PPL twice a week, right? So push-pull day and another pull day. You're going to schedule trap training at the end of this and at the end of this. Now let's say you have a shoulder day, right? You have one back day in the week. You're going to put it at the end of that. Let's say you have a shoulder day, shoulders and arms. You're going to put it at the end of that. This is what I do. At the end of shoulders and arms, I like to hit barbell shrugs. Now, if you're just getting started, I'm going to advise you to do 2 to 3 hard sets per session. So you're going to do a few warm-up sets, 1 to 2 warm-up sets, and then 2 to 3 just hard sets in the sense, do not go crazy and, hurt yourself. Hard sets, I mean this kind of a hard set with a cluster sets, okay? The hard sets, I mean cluster set. So you're going to have a goal in your mind. I'm going to get 20 reps. You're going to pick a weight that you can do only for 7 to 8 reps. You're going to get 7 to 8 reps. You can take a breather. You're going to go again. However many reps you get, fine. You're going to take a breather. You're going to go again. However many reps you get, that's fine. Take a breather. Go again. Finish all 20 reps. And the style of set I've discussed here, the cluster set. I'm going to talk about this in the future when it comes to leg extensions, when it comes to leg press, when it comes to just the cluster set you can use in a lot of different exercises. I like to use it in barbell shrugs and a lot of others. So I recommend you try this on barbell shrugs. And the last one I kind of want to discuss here is when you're warming up, you don't have to worry about this amount of reps. People ask me, how many reps do you do for warm-up? I don't really count, okay? The empty barbell, I sometimes do it for about 10 reps. Sometimes it's just 5 reps. And then I increase, I get 10 kg plates on each side. Do that for 4 reps. Add 25 kgs on each side and then do that for about 3 reps. You don't want to tire yourself. That's the main thing. You do not want to tire yourself before you get to the actual set. Warm up in a way that your muscles are warm, but you're not exhausted and you're tired now. Okay? You want to make sure your muscles are warmed up. And that's it. That's the video. Train your traps heavy. Really heavy. Okay? Train like a psychopath. All right? That's it. That's the video. Have a good time training traps at the end of your back days or shoulder days. I'll see you in the next one.